Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today you're going to get on the CT-3 and try to get the top end put back on it, and maybe we'll get that compression checked too. But got a couple little things I need to take care of first. I want to check the top of the cylinder and the top of the head to make sure they're not warped or anything there, so I'll lap those in. I'm sure you've seen me do this before. You've probably done it, but I'll take you through it just a little bit, and then we'll see if we can get this installed. All right, I've got some Dicom already on the cylinder head and the cylinder, so we're going to go ahead and lap those in. Start with the cylinder here. I've got a piece of glass laying here with a piece of wet and dry sandpaper. I just got it taped on there to help me hold on to it. And we're just using the weight of the cylinder and kind of going back and forth. Yeah, see, it needs a little, looks like. There was some oil up there when I took it apart between the cylinder head and the cylinder. So that's what kind of clued me into thinking I might ought to do this. Okay, looks like that'll do it, probably. We'll do the cylinder head. Maybe we can get by with this. This is wet and dry 400 grit sandpaper, what I'm using. So we'll try this one now. If it needs a lot, I'll have to put a new piece of sandpaper on. But hopefully it'll just take right care of it. Yeah, just a little bit right here in this corner. So I'll keep after it a little bit. Okay, looks good. It's important to do this because, you know, it can leak right here, or it can leak at your base gasket on the cylinder, either one, and that can throw your seal off in the crankcase. So, you know, you could have brand new seals on the crankshaft and still have a vacuum leak or a pressure leak, however you want to call it. Some people vacuum check them, some people pressure check them. But no matter what you do, if the thing is sealed, then you're losing your seal there, and it's causing you to maybe not start easy. You know, maybe you're hard starting, or it just doesn't run right, you know. But that's the most critical thing on a two-stroke, is making sure that your everything is sealed up good in the crankcase. So okay, and I've already got this cleaned off. I cleaned it when I did the boring. So all we've got to do is just kind of wipe this out, get the piston and everything installed. And this is all I'm using is I've got a piece of glass. One of these days I'd like to get a precision plate. It's ground from granite usually, you know, maybe 2 or 3 inches thick. But yeah, this has worked for all this time. I don't know whether I really need it or not. And then just notice there's some material left on this. And this thing is, somebody had been in here and they've really glued all this together. I'm not even going to attempt to pull this off or this. Just did what I had to do to get this out so I could bore it. But it's just, you know, I don't understand why people glue all this stuff. It's just not necessary. I'm hoping I'm not going to have a leak. I don't see how it could leak with all that dang glue on there. But get this one cleaned off anyway. And we'll put a new gasket on it. I'll kind of blow this out, and it should be good to go. I've just got a little bit of gasket material on it. That's about it. We'll go ahead and get our intake put back on. And just for the life of me, I don't know why people got to glue them on. They think if you get gasket sealer, you're going to be in better shape. These things are almost never need any sealer. And you never want to put gasket sealer here. It's hard enough to clean that surface. And on these exhaust bolts, I always like just a little bit of anti-seize on them. Just helps the next guy. I got that on there right? I don't think I do. I think this spring goes to the top. Actually, maybe if I go over and look at the, let me look at the pipe. Yep, it goes to the top. For your spring. Of course, the thing with anti-seize is you get it all over everything and yourself, and by the time you get through doing whatever you're doing, you look like the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. All right, I think we're pretty well prepared there. And get our piston. Got a couple new clips, a new bearing, and a new pin. And right now we need a new clip over here on this side, because I usually work from the other side to install the piston pin. And just make sure that it's in the groove. All right, I guess I could probably put the rings on yet. And we'd already gone over this, the expanders. If you get them, use them. And You know, I think people think they fall off or something, but they're not going to fall off unless you break a ring. There's no way for them to get out. I don't know. Some people just dead set against using them, I guess. That's their prerogative. And let's see here if I can find the top one. Okay, this is the bottom one. That's the one I want first anyway. The top one is a keystone, so it's got a taper on the top. It'll be tapered. I think it's 7 degrees. You'll feel the taper going this way. The bottom will be flat. And on this one here, the lower one, everything is flat. So that's the one we'll start with, and make sure that your little indentions for the pin are oriented up, right there. So that's, make sure that it's like that. And on your upper ring, make sure that that taper is up. They've usually got stuff marked on them here. This one's got 50 for the size, and then I think it's a T. I can't really, which probably means top. Yeah, and then just try that one to make sure that it's going to work right. I don't think I got it on there right after all that. Let's see, that's in there. It should be up. All right, guys. Got this all cleaned up, I think. And if you want to do anything for here, it's best to just use some grease to help seal this around here. And that also helps the next guy getting that gasket off. You know, you've cleaned everything so that even if it's you the next time, you'll be happy you did it. But if for some reason you think you need to put gasket sealer there, you've got another problem. All right, I'm just going to give this a little squirt with some Yamaha lube, both sides. And a little extra right there at the lower rod. And just to let you know, I was having trouble with the, see, the bottom one works good, and I've got the expander in there. The top one, I think it's because it's a keystone ring, it would not go down. You've got to make sure that if you're putting those under there, that it will completely compress into the groove. So that one wouldn't, so the top one, I pulled it out. All right. I'm going to put a little assembly lube in this one. I've just cleaned that out. Just for a little extra there. And we've got our new bearing. And for that, we'll go ahead and give it some Yamaha lube. Just a little extra help there. And let me go ahead and get the gasket on. Let's see, got the angle cuts there. Okay, so that looks right. And what I'll do is go ahead and get a little grease on it too. Yeah, just check your rings, make sure they compress. If they won't go into that groove, then you're not going to be able to use those. I haven't seen a set of expanders for a while, I don't think. May have been on the Suzuki the last time I saw them. But I didn't have any problem with it. But we had problem with this one, so we couldn't use the one on the top. Those were Hap Jones rings. You know, the Hap Jones stuff was all good stuff. It's the piston is exactly the same. It's made by Art, which makes all the Yamaha pistons. And we'll get a little lube on the new pin. And we'll go ahead and get that kind of started. With any luck, we'll be able to just shove it right in there. I'm going to go ahead and get a little extra Yamaha lube on the inside too. Can't overdo it. All right, there it is. All right, before I start playing around with that clip, I'm going to get this sealed up here. Get that started and get your thumb over it so it can't fly out. And then make sure that it's seated in the groove. That looks good. Yeah, just double checking. Got to make sure now our the gaps are at the pins. And we'll go ahead and get a little Yamaha lube going into the ring lands there. Looks like I need to fill it up again. Yep, let me get some more in there. Okay, knocked it off of the bike there while I was trying to turn the camera on. Okay, now I'm just getting the Yamaha lube put in the cylinder. And let's see if we're going to be able to start this thing. Got the pin right there and right there. Okay, looks like we got it. I'm gonna reach in there and grab my paper towels. Be careful doing that and you don't tear your gasket. All right. All right, that looks like everything's good there. Get soap and water and try to get that off of there. I just want, you don't want dirt and stuff just right off the bat starting to collect where you've got oil where it shouldn't be. Okay, get our head gasket out here. I think I'm going to have to find my bolts. Okay, again on the head bolts, I like to give it a little bit of anti-seize. Doesn't take a lot, just need some in there. Or a little oil, but it just needs something. Alright, should be good on that. Alright, we'll get our gasket and head. Get one of these started in here to kind of hold the gasket on while we're tipping it up. See if we can capture the other side here. All right, I think I got it. We'll just get in here and start these. All right, now we're gonna start our torque sequence here, and we're going up to 180 inch-pounds, and just kind of crisscross this. And my first torque is going to be at 50 inch-pounds, but right now I'm just running it up, giving it, just by feel. All right. Okay, there's our first torque. And we'll just run this up to about 80, I guess. And we'll grab our next one. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you step it up. Oh, excuse me. Okay. And we'll just finish up at our 180. 180 inch-pounds. All right, we're good. Okay, now we'll put our attention over here to the carburetor. Get this side here going, that way you can just slide it in. Got a new seal on here. And we previously went through the carburetor. Looks like that's going to be difficult to go here. Sometimes they are. So we get it down past that idle bump on the carburetor. Okay, let me get an Allen wrench. And if you've never tried these Bondus, they've got the this little tip on it so that you can get in at an angle. Really saves the day. Of course, these don't have to be, oh my gosh, tight or anything. All right, that should do the trick. And I'm just sure I'm going to have to heat. Oh yeah, this thing's just hard as a rock. So I'm going to have to heat that up in some hot water so I can get it on. But I got to get my air cleaner and all that back in there too. So let me see if I can get that done. All right, well, I'm warming up the hot water for the air cleaner boot. I've got some new copper washers for the oil injection line. I've already got the screw all taken care of here, so we'll get that. Let's see, let me get that one on the bolt first, banjo bolt. Now, the great thing about the Yamahas is they've got a provision to bleed that pump, so you don't have to go through all that squirting it in there thing. But you need to leave this loose. And actually, I think I'm gonna have to put some oil in the tank. I had that out. So let me get a little prep done here. Okay, I just filled up the reservoir. First thing we need to do is just crack this screw loose. Now, just take it out. That's the best thing to do. And wait for gravity to fill the line, and it should come out there when it gets full. Probably going to take a little while. It's got to dribble down, and then you've got a little cavity inside the pump that it's got to fill too. Oh, there it is right there. Must have had a little air in it when I hit the wheel. It came out. then this this little wheel right here, it's got an arrow on it showing to turn it this way to prime it. Once you've got oil in there, then we're going to wait. I've still got this loose, and we'll just work it until, what I'm going to do is hold the pump wide open. Until it comes out of there. There it is. See it coming out right down here. Give it a little bit more. There we go. It's coming out good now. Okay. And what I was doing was I was just holding this all the way open while I was spinning this. And that way it speeds everything up. And then once we've got the oil coming out here, then we can go ahead and tighten this up. Doesn't have very far to go after that. At least we know a pump's working. That is, keeps wanting to move when I tighten it. All right. And I've got my pan down here with it's hot water. Boy, look how good that works. Softens that rubber right up. Still got to get that air cleaner box in there, but at least I'll be able to now get the rubber onto the carburetor. It'll just slide on there now. That's what it said anyway. Looks like I need to stretch it out a little. There we go. And the air cleaner box will come down over this. This side stays pretty pliable. It's the carburetor, you know, where the heat is, that we have a problem with. All right, let's go ahead and get our compression checker in here. Now this isn't going to be very valid because the rings aren't seated. You know, it'll take a little bit of run time for it to really seat the rings in, but maybe we can get a gist. Let's see if I can get someplace it'll stay there. All right, let's see what this does. So I've got the throttle up here that I'll have to hold open with my finger here. Okay, it's better than it was. Looks like 105, 110. So we were 90 before, so we're up, 20 pounds or so here, just without even the rings being seated. So that should be a good thing. I think it'll run immensely better. And the air cleaner was completely gone, so I just made a new one out of a piece of uni filter product. And you just kind of cut it to fit and then glue it with some silicone glue or weather stripping or whatever works right through here. And I've got rubber bands around it to hold it until I'll probably take it off tomorrow. Everything seems pretty dry already, but we'll just leave it on until tomorrow, and that way we'll be able to get that slid back up into here. But sometimes that's what you've got to do. Most of these have a paper filter. So this one is one of the rare ones that actually had a basket in it that you could put a filter in or on. I've got one like that myself, and here's another one. So that's a good thing. Those paper filters, for the longest time, you couldn't get them at all. Well, you could, but you could probably pay close to $200 for them. And KDI now has them, and I don't remember what they are, but they're not $200, maybe 30. Anyhow, they are available now, so check KDI out on eBay, or just go to their website. I think that's about as far as we're going to get today. We've got the whole top end up. We've got the carburetor on and the air cleaner. I've got some oil in here. It's not full yet. I want to wait until I kind of don't need this to lay over. And I've still got to put oil in the transmission. I just brought some in from out in the shed, so it'll be a little while before it's warm enough to put in there. And I've got to get the foot pegs on yet, but I did get the throttle and the oil cable on. I put those on. I've still got to hook it up here. I had to hold this open when I was doing the compression test. And we've still got a stoplight switch we've got put on, and of course we've got to take both wheels off and put new tires and tubes on and clean those up, and then we can hook the brake and all that stuff back up too. So we've still got plenty to do on the CT-3, but that's the major part of it, was getting the Kickstarter fixed and getting the top end done. So that's pretty much it for the top end. Next time we work on this one, we'll be installing cables and taking tires off probably and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what we've got to do yet. So there you go, guys. Got a little progress on the CT-3. Got that top end built. Everything should be good to go there. It's just going to be, like I said, getting the cables on, some of the little normal nitnoy things that we have to do, get the tires on. Most of that stuff I'm sure you guys really don't care much about, so I'll be taking a little video of it, but not a lot. And we'll just kind of roll all that stuff into the next video probably. But I don't know how the wiring's going to be, so we may have some troubleshooting there to get everything to work. A lot of unknowns yet, and that's just kind of the way this channel is. We run into a lot of things that we got to fix on the fly. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.